Oh, yeah, you found us on the World Wide Web at testosteronesports.com. Jeff and Jesse holding it down right now, dropping fantasy football knowledge for you and discussing a myriad of topics that are the NFL offseason. Now, Jeff, it has been a highly active offseason, as you mentioned in one of our other pieces, and the speculation continues to percolate as the NFL draft draws nigh. There are several players, you like that?
I do.
There are several players out there that could be about to switch teams over the next week or 2 weeks. We thought it'd be a good idea to address a couple of those players now. Right now, we are hearing that the Chiefs are very close to trading Tony Gonzalez, possibly over to the NFC, where he could potentially land with Matt Ryan and the rest of that Falcons squad that already has a stellar offense. I'm hearing his locker has been cleaned out. The club might be willing to trade him for a mere second-round pick. If that were to go down, give your thoughts.
Well, given the fact that Tony Gonzalez has been in the league for so long, getting a second-round pick for him is really, really a great value for the Chiefs. When we were down at training camp last season, we saw and talked to Tony Gonzalez, and you could tell that he was very unsatisfied with his situation. He knows that the time is ticking on his career, and he wants to leave a legacy that's not just statistical. He's a lock for the Hall of Fame. He knows that. He wants to get a ring or at least have a chance to play for a contender. Going to the Falcons would be a huge boon for him. He'd have a great quarterback throwing him the ball, other nice weapons to work with, and I think it would mean great things for Michael Turner in the passing or in the rushing game.
Yeah, I mean, from a personal perspective, I'd like to see Tony go there because, I mean, let's face it, the guy is an all-pro. He's a lock for the Hall of Fame already, probably the best, if not one of for sure the best tight ends of all time. And he's never won a playoff game.
Right.
That's mind-boggling to me. So to see him get his wish would be a good thing. I think it would be fantastic for the entire offense there. I agree it would free up Michael Turner because Tony G can also block really well. He's not just a pass catcher. And I also think that it would be a huge bonus for Matt Ryan as he moves into his second season to have that comfort blanket right there that he can throw it to on 3rd and 6, 3rd and 7, a guy who knows how to make plays in the crunch.
Now, in my opinion, Tony Gonzalez is still at the top of his game, and if the Chiefs do trade him, they're going to be really lacking in that position. Now, Brad Cottam is a player that the Chiefs are pretty high on as the backup tight end to Tony Gonzalez, and I think that he has a chance to be a sleeper, although we're going to want to take a look at him in training camp to see how the team would utilize him, because Tony Gonzalez would be leaving an offense where he produced 96 receptions.
That's a lot.
On the season. A top 10 producer, almost 100 receptions out of your tight end means he's a primary target.
Right.
So they're going to really lose something without having him there. Dwayne Bowe would get a lot more double teams because they don't have much of a secondary option right now. So it would be definitely interesting to see how the team would respond to that. But in the NFL right now, the Chiefs are still kind of rebuilding, so they pretty much have to do it or they're going to have an unhappy Hall of Famer on their hands all year.
Another team we want to talk about in this segment of speculation, the Cleveland Browns. They have completely blown up the ship so far this offseason, firing their coach, firing their GM, bringing in a whole new team on that side, and also shipping out some of their best players, or at least one of their best players to date. Kellen Winslow Jr. already traded. He's now a Buccaneer. And Jeff, we're hearing rumblings, strong rumblings, that a couple more key cogs on this potential offense could be gone soon. The first and foremost one we need to talk about here is Braylon Edwards. It sounds like the Giants are stepping up, might be willing to put together a package of picks to land Bray now that they've already cut ties with Plaxico Burress. If that happens, what does it mean for Braylon and what's it do for the Giants?
Well, I really like it for both entities here. I think that Braylon Edwards needs to have a better quarterback throwing him the ball. We saw him with a lot of drops last season. I think that was mental. A change of scenery could really help that for him. Playing for a guy like Tom Coughlin, a no-nonsense, X's and O's defensive type of a mindset is going to keep him in line and make sure that he gets the opportunities that he needs. And this is a premier situation for him. He'd be going to New York.
Right.
So for Braylon, it would be a huge step in his career, and the advertising dollars that he would see from that would just be enormous. So I think it would be great for both sides, and Eli needs that top target, and the Giants, they were definitely not as good without Plaxico Burress on the field. Plaxico was like the best bait or decoy in the NFL last year. They would play their first play, they'd throw him the ball, and then the defense would be all hopped up over onto Plex. They'd run Jacobs to the right, they'd throw to Steve Smith. So I think it would make a lot of sense for them to get that top target back.
The Browns are also talking about a potential trade that could send Brady Quinn out. We've heard a few different teams mentioned. I think the Jets could have some interest. The Vikings, it would make sense that they would have some interest. The Broncos might even have some interest. Brady Quinn, if he leaves, that means Derek Anderson is going to be the starter there going forward. Is this a good move by Eric Mangini to be shopping Quinn at this point? Have we seen enough to know if he's going to be good?
Well, I mean, if they trade both Quinn and Edwards, who's Anderson going to throw the ball to? I mean, Josh Cribbs? I like the
Dante Stallworth in the clink.
Yeah, it's really, really looking bad for this team. The Browns are not looking good at all. So, well, from what I've heard, it would take just a second-round pick to get Brady Quinn. So I would think that teams would be lining up to make this move, especially the Vikings. Another team I think could be the Jaguars, who are unsettled at quarterback right now. So that's a developing story we're going to want to keep an eye on.
Yeah, this is why we love the NFL. This is why we do this show. And, of course, this is why you tune into our show every single week during the regular season and throughout the offseason, Jeff. And people tune in at home because if they want to win,
you must tune in
to Testosterone Fantasy Sports. We'll see you next time on the web.